What is up, entrepreneurs? Lee Burke here from the Lee Burke Project, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how to find product suppliers from China. And action! Right, so there's a couple of really good websites that you're going to need to know. You may have heard of some of them. I'll explain a bit how they work and the best way to use them. And I'll also mention a website you probably haven't heard of. So probably the most commonly known Chinese supplier website is Alibaba.com. So this is a website that contains Chinese manufacturers and wholesalers where you can source all types of products, whether they be already designed and developed and ready to go and ready for you to private label, or if you're contacting suppliers with your own designs and just looking to get those manufactured. Either way, Alibaba is probably your best bet if you're looking at larger quantities, so which you probably are if you're selling on Amazon. So we're looking at probably anything from a minimum of 250, an average of 500, up to 1,000 plus units to be ordering on Alibaba. The next tab across here is AliExpress, which is also owned by the Alibaba Group, but is really more of a small scale type of website where if you're just looking to order 1 or 5 or 10 units, you may want to test a product line on Amazon or on eBay or on Shopify. So AliExpress might be the way to go there. Obviously the prices are a bit higher because you're not ordering in bulk, but you know that's all part of it as well. So what I'll do is I'm going to search for a product on Alibaba, and then we'll put that same product into AliExpress and we can have a look at the difference in pricing there and what's available from the various suppliers. So I also just wanted to mention, because Alibaba isn't the only wholesale and manufacturer marketplace for Chinese products online. Obviously there's quite a few of them if you hunt around. One of the other big players is dhgate.com, so that might be one you want to add to your favorites and just do a comparison of the different suppliers available and the different prices you can get from each one of the websites and marketplaces. So what I generally do is we'll do a comparison across a couple of them, and in general, depending on the product and the niche, I find that DHgate generally sits somewhere in between AliExpress and Alibaba in terms of pricing. So maybe if you're after, say, like 20 or 30 or 50 units, DHgate may be the way to go there. So let's focus this one on Alibaba.com. So you can just browse categories here on the left, or what I generally do is just search for a particular niche or product line. So for example, if we want to search for selfie lights, selfie ring lights, which is a product that I found the other day, what we come up with is these selfie ring lights. Now they just clip on the top of your phone, just on the top there, and basically allow you to take a selfie. And the LED lights, I think there's about 36 LEDs in these, will light up your face a bit brighter than the screen or whatever natural lighting you have normally would. So these are quite popular on Amazon and eBay at the moment. So when you have conducted a search, what you can do is generally just click on Gold Supplier. That means that they've been on the Alibaba marketplace a bit longer. They have a number of transactions under their belt. So if we look on the right here, we can see Gold Supplier 5 years. This one here, 50,000 transactions within the last 6 months, and then as we go down, 2-year Gold Supplier, etc. But we may get down and find ones that aren't Gold Suppliers, so just to filter and weed those ones out, you can just click Gold Supplier there right at the start. Now trade assurance here is whether or not that supplier offers trade assurance, which is basically an Alibaba escrow service. So when you purchase your goods, the money that you pay for them to your supplier would go into trade assurance, which is escrow, and will be held there until you confirm that you've received your goods at the other end, or they've been received into the Amazon warehouse. So if you're after that, you can click that. Generally, if you're paying by PayPal, you're covered anyway, or you may have some other insurance to cover that. So the other thing we can do here is look for pricing. So if we were after a specific pricing, say between $1 and $3, we could put that in here. I'm just going to leave that for now. And then we've got the sort by here. So we can sort by best match, transaction level. So that's this here. So you don't necessarily always want a higher transaction level, because if it's a large supplier and you're only after a smaller minimum quantity order, you may want to, deal with a company that's a bit more medium sized to smaller size, because you get that more personalized service. And response rate, so how responsive they are to inquiries coming through, etc., which is all handled on the platform itself. So I generally just leave it in the order that it comes in, and then take my time scrolling through all of the suppliers and contacting them as I need them. Now, as you go through, if you want to compare a particular supplier, you can click Add to Compare here. And they will jump down into your comparison section down here. Now, if you find one you like, so for example, see this US $1.27 to $1.50 per piece. Now that's obviously just a guideline. It's not until you contact the supplier and you give them your requirements, so any customization you need, if you need special packaging, or you want your logo put onto the units, or you want your supplier to apply the barcodes, how many items you want. If a minimum's say 500 and you only want 500, then you're going to be paying generally in the higher range, but sometimes it can be totally different. So you really need to contact the supplier to find out what it is. But I also pay attention to this minimum order quantity here, because if that says something like 3,000 or 5,000 and I only want 500, then I'll probably just skip over that supplier if there are a lot of other suppliers that are available for the same type of product. So if, for example, I like this one, that they're a 2-year gold supplier, they've got a number of transactions going through, it's a good minimum order, and I like the price range there, what I'll generally do is click in, and it opens up in a new tab just to have a bit of a look at the pictures. So we've got the pictures here. We can, depending on what they've uploaded, you can see the features. Sometimes you can see the packaging. There's an example of the packaging that you may be able to customize. There's a picture of it on the phone itself. There's the clip. So I just scroll through. There's a video there that you can watch also if you want. Now this section here on the right can be handy, because it will actually show you other options for the same types of product. Not necessarily the exact same product, but this one we're looking at a price range up to about $1.50, and it actually tells me here this supplier's gone and taken the time to add in the different volume discounts you're going to get. You won't always get this on all of your suppliers and all of your products, but I can see here that if I order over 500, I get it for $1.42. So if you're looking at 500, you might actually be better to order 501 if the supplier lets you. Over 1,000, $1.35. So it's getting cheaper the more you get. Remembering that you don't want to order too many units that you have them sitting there in the Amazon warehouse and get charged excess storage fees if they're there for over 2 months. So yeah, you can click on any of these if you find another option that you like. There's another good one. Portable smartphone flash, $32 to $50. It's about the same. Sometimes you click on them and they happen to be the same supplier. So just keep up here a note of the supplier name, Shenzhen Technology. Then scrolling down, they do give you more details, so you can see the size and the weight, etc. Minimum order quantity. These are only 84 grams, so it should be fairly cheap to ship over to the Amazon warehouse. Shows you a bit of the inside of the product itself. I go through these photos and they tend to load as you scroll. And then generally they have a bit about the company, also related products, a bit about the company, information down there, certificates and pictures of their factory. Most of the suppliers will have a similar type of thing. This one has an FAQ, so you can read through that. When I'm ready, what I will do is contact the supplier here, so you can expand this out. And then what I do is put in my minimum order quantity, 500. Then I'll just send a message to the supplier asking them about what the unit cost will be if I order 500, what their manufacturing and delivery time is, their estimated delivery via, you can get a quote for air shipping and sea shipping, and then just any other questions. If you want to see more photos, ask them. Think of everything that you want to know up front and put it into that original message, and then the messages, you'll get an email back once they reply, but the message, you can come into this message center and read it. I just untick share business card and keep all those unticked and just click send when I'm ready to go. So scroll back to the top, and so we see $1.50 about, and it was a selfie ring light. So if I go over to AliExpress and type in the same thing, selfie ring light, then we can see, so you see we're paying slightly higher prices here because we've got lower minimum quantities, but also, well, for this one actually, because they're so small and light, they're actually including free shipping here, so that's actually quite good if you just wanted to buy one to see what it was like and to play around with. Often what I'll do is, if I have an order coming from Alibaba that's shipping via either air or sea, I will find the same product on AliExpress and order that and just get it shipped straight away, so that way I can take product photos, I can play around with it, I can know what the product's like, or you might even do that before you place your order with Alibaba. And scroll down, there's really a lot of suppliers for these, so not all of these guys will be manufacturers of these. There'll also be wholesalers in here, and then as you move down, there's actually bigger ring lights and you move into other product categories. So let's go on to DHgate, type in selfie ring light, and you can see that the pricing here is somewhere in between that $1.50 and $4 range. So, but the minimum order quantity is kind of in the mid range as well, so 50 pieces, as opposed to with some of the other suppliers on Alibaba, not the one we specifically looked at, but a lot of them will have a 100 or 200 or even 500 minimum order quantity. With this one, you can see how many they've sold, you've got customer reviews, etc. But this essentially you can just add to cart and buy them straight away, and the same on AliExpress. So Alibaba, you always have to contact the supplier. Unless they're a wholesaler, you may be able to order them directly. So that's that. So just to recap, guys, we've got Alibaba.com, which is where you get your wholesale quotes and order and work with the suppliers to get a bulk order either shipped over via air freight or sea freight to your warehouses. We've got AliExpress, which is more for your one-off purchases and things like that. And then we've got DH Gate, which is more about kind of your mid-range type of orders and things like that. So, you know, scrolling through using the filtering here, ticking gold supplier, trade assurance if you want it, and then scrolling through and sending off initial inquiries to your different suppliers, getting them back, sifting through them, and finding someone you can really work with. You know, that's really key as well here, is finding someone that you're comfortable working with, is responsive, you've got a good mode of communication between yourselves. I tend to try and keep the communication on the Alibaba platform itself. A lot of suppliers will want to speak to you on Skype or WhatsApp or via email, which is all fine if they're sending kind of more detailed specs or emails or documents, but I kind of like, initially at least, having everything in the one place so I can sort through it, see who's replied and everything like that. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and remember to subscribe. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.